Mahua, this crisis has seen various organizations, for example, the Delhi Sikh Gurdwara Management Committee, doing exemplary work. But tell us about the situation in Bengal, because there are so many Gurdwaras across the state, certainly so many in Kolkata, very large ones, doing absolutely stellar service. So give us an idea of what you have learned of some of the work that they've been doing.
You know, in Bengal, I think the Sikh community has always been a very integral part of, I would say, Bengali life. So in Calcutta, I remember when we first moved to Calcutta, going past the Gurdwara, there's a big one on Harish Mukherjee Road. And my father, I remember him when we were small, and he was saying, you get the most delicious halwa here, I'll take you one day. And then he said that the Sikhs, remember one thing, Putlu, they never go hungry, because there's always a Sikh out there willing to give food. And I remember thinking that, oh, that's an amazing thing, that imagine in this community that nobody goes hungry. And that was something that was in my head. And going forward, I think, you know, childhood, even as a child, when you think of a big turban man with a sword, you would probably think of it as a figure of fear or a figure of terror. But for right from childhood, I think when you saw a Sikh, you would always think of the Sikh community and of Sikh figures as literally they take fateh, which is that you're providing charity and you're providing protection to the needy and the oppressed. So I think that is something through the langar, through the deg, which is the cauldron which they share with, that is something that the Sikh community, their spirit of sharing, their spirit of inclusiveness is something that is interwoven in their life, and they do it for everybody. So that's something we've always seen. That's not anything new. But to take that forward, what do people need now? You don't need a langar for just food, because we were assuming that oxygen or the air we breathe is taken for granted. And today, this pandemic and this crisis has shown us that that's not taken for granted, that people can't get oxygen. So to actually think outside the box and to think of, you can just go in and get a helping of halwa or get a helping of food. And here you have that you can actually get a helping of life, that you can actually go and get air, is absolutely unbelievable. And I'll give you a small example. We had a very senior IAS officer whose nephew was ill, and we were trying to get him a bed in Gurgaon. And then I spoke to his wife and I said, did you manage? We said, he's okay now, because we at least managed to get him in the car to a Gurdwara and managed to give him oxygen for a few hours. So I think that this kind of seva, this kind of, I would say, pillar in the community that the Sikhs have been always in terms of food, and they've stepped it up today in terms of just giving life. And this has really proved life-saving to everyone, has taken the idea of seva and the idea of protection to the needy and the protection and charity to the needy and the oppressed to another level. And, you know, today when we look at India and we look at sort of everything is exclusive and everything is divisive, and to have this kind of seva, just no questions asked, unconditional, I think they have made India a better place, and they've made us a better people. You know, so really complete, total gratitude and awe to the entire community, because as I was listening to Dr. Trehan and listening to Mr. Nair as well, I think in terms of normal people, in terms of when they are, in terms of emergency, think of themselves. So you keep thinking, let me hoard an oxygen cylinder at home. I may not need it today. My father may need it tomorrow. But the idea that you think that it doesn't matter, somebody else is needing it today, let me be able to give that today. Let me not hoard just for myself. And that's where every normal person needs to step up. And like Dr. Trehan said, we can't just always get depressed and think of what we can't do and everybody's feeling helpless. I mean, forget it, just go out there and in a small way, do what every simple, normal Sikh is doing. Give 8 hours of your time to a langar, to an oxygen bank, to something.
Yeah,
and,
no, absolutely.
I think that's the...
No, the generosity is incredible. Pranoy had a question. Go ahead.
Mahua Moitra, we've watched your speeches in Parliament. We've read you on Twitter, and you've had a major impact in this crisis. And now, together, we're all seeing the power of the Sikh community and the langars and what they can achieve. Whether it's the langars as we know them, like distributing food to everyone, or now the oxygen langars. And it's given to everybody, regardless of their religion, caste, or class. That's a lesson for all of us in India, right?
That's exactly what I said, is that the idea when we're living in India today, and this is not a political discussion, so I'll try not getting to that, but we're living in an India, we're all defined by the narrower person that we are. It's all about creating boundaries and changing our definition of, coming back to the lowest common denominator of who we are as a person. I'm first a Bengali, then a Brahmin, then a Hindu, then X, then Y. So I think lately we've started thinking of ourselves in the lowest common denominator, making us, I would say, smaller human beings. And there you have something like this which comes in and really lifts us all as a society and as a people to being the best we can be. And that's the lesson that I think the public, the politicians, all of us, our government can take away, that crises are supposed to turn us into the best we can be, not into the worst we can be. And that's where every normal Sikh, every Gurdwara and something like this, I think, like I said, it's really moved us into a higher plane. It's made us a better people, Pranav.